Yo, what's up guys, it's Emil. Today I'm gonna break down how you can make sure that the meetings you are getting will be 100 times warmer than they were before, where they know more about you, all objections are pre-handled, they have fully trust in you, they have seen value, they really feel warm, and the chance of them actually showing up will also become much higher than they were before. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Emil and I scale my coaching business to over 60K per month, where we help other coaches and consultants plug in proven client acquisitions by first implementing proven foundations that are necessary if you want to have success with marketing, and then also sales. So once you get meetings out of the client acquisition, it's also important to know how to convert those meetings into paying customers on a predictable level. So let's get into it. So the thing is that I know most of you watching this video, not most of you, but probably all of you, have had meetings where they are completely different in terms of quality. Some have the exact right intent, budget, authority, timing, everything aligns. On the other hand, you have the meetings, they don't know anything about you, they have no interest, no need, no budget, no timing, makes you spend 45 minutes pitching, talk about your services and why that is the best, hoping and praying that they will find it interesting, only for it to lead to where they just don't do anything. They say, I'm gonna think over it, and it never leads to anything. That's what happens with the unqualified meetings. Today I'm going to talk about one of the biggest things you can implement in your business today that will make sure at least they will be warmer than they were before. 100 times warmer in my opinion, because this will be such a key thing you can implement that will, again, make sure that they will be warmer. So yeah, let's just dive into it. So the thing is, like, there are many things you can do. There's a lot of things you can do leading up to the call, and I'm not going to talk about those things that is about the marketing, how you actually position yourself before they end the booking. I'm going to talk about after they book. And the thing is, now they are taking the action to book a call to talk about something, maybe strategy call, an advisory call, maybe a consultant call. They have taken the action of them wanting to jump on a call with you. Very first thing that is kind of before they book the call is that I don't recommend you to make the prospect be able to book more than 5 days ahead of the call, because the more time passes after the book, the bigger are the chance of them canceling, forgetting who you are, forgetting why they were interested in the first place, and they get more also time to look for other services, other solutions. So make sure that your calendar is as short as possible, maybe even in the next 3 days. So that's just my first recommendation for you if you really want to make sure that all the meetings you are getting will become warmer. So what's the process after they book the call? I know it's very common to not have any processes at all, where they just book and then you maybe have some automations on Calendly or Google Calendar, whatever it is, where it's just reminders. But that is, maybe it helps a little bit, but that is not a way to make sure that they are warmer. So again, a meeting that is warm, that is someone who knows everything about your services. All objections are pre-handled. They have seen value. They see you as the authority, and they trust your ability to get them from pain stage to dream stage. They have trust in you that you can help them do that leading up to the call. That's the type of meetings that you want. And this triage system that happens after the book a call, that is to make sure that all these boxes are checked. So even if they come completely cold, maybe you had a setter that were cold calling to book that meeting, they still go through the process where we make sure they know everything about your services, all objections are pre-handled, and so on and so on and so on. We don't want them to show up on the meeting, on cold meeting, because this is what happens if that happens. What happens if that happens is that will they will be cold, and when they are cold, you end up pitching 30-40 minutes of why your business is the best. And then you look at all these gurus, all these influencers on Instagram and YouTube saying you should only pitch for 5 to 10 minutes during your sales calls, and then the rest should be around asking questions and make the prospects I don't know how to say, convince themselves why your services are the way to go to them. But the thing is, not many people talk about is that only works if they already are educated on your solution, if they are solution aware. That is when those kind of calls works where you can pitch for 5 to 10 minutes. But if you have someone that is completely cold, they are gonna be so, first and foremost, they're gonna be so difficult getting answer your questions. Like if they have no idea who you are, it's gonna be so difficult for you to make them answer your questions because they have no idea what's coming. They have no idea what you're doing. They have no idea why they're even on the call in the first place. Why should they spend 30 minutes answering your question with no idea what you do? And then you might say, but you're just figuring out if we can actually help you. But they're like, yeah, but I don't even know what you can help me with. That's what's gonna happen. And it's gonna be super difficult to navigate around that. The way you are making sure to make that easier is by them already knowing what's coming. And you are there positioning yourself like they know your services, but you are there where you are positioning yourself where it's like, yeah, but we are figuring out if this actually works for you. They know what you're doing, but you are the one that is the authority figure to figure out if you can actually help them or not. And that's when those kind of things actually makes sense, where you say, hey, we are just trying to figure out if you can actually help you or not. So first we got to figure out your situations, what your goals, and what's preventing you from reaching those goals. That makes sense if they know what your service is about. But if they have no idea, it doesn't make sense at all, and you're not able to answer the questions. They will shoot you with questions, and then you are again in the position where you pitch for 30-40 minutes, talk about everything you're doing, and then hope and pray that they will be interested. That is like throwing mud in the wall and hope it says so, but it will stick. You throw mud and hope and pray that some of the words you're saying will stick to the prospect's mind. What you want to do instead, and I think you are aware of this already, is that you want to have your sales process in a way where you customize your solution and what you're saying depending on their needs and situation. Because it's always different a little bit. Like you don't know if what you're saying to one prospect will work with a second prospect, but because they might have a little bit different problems. They might have a little bit different goals. So when you talk about goals to a prospect that don't really have those goals, it doesn't really make sense. So it kind of makes sense that you have to figure out the goals to make sure that you can customize what you're saying towards them. Otherwise, again, you are throwing mud on the wall, hope that somewhat will stick. All right. So now you understand the importance of making sure that you know as much about your services as possible, but as well as objections are pre-handled. And I'm going to talk about how that works right now. So very first thing that I would like you to do is making sure that when they jump on a call with you, you already know their situation, goals, and what's preventing them from reaching the goals. Because when you then jump on a call, you are prepared. You are not getting any cold meetings either. That's the worst thing, where you have meetings with people that you really have to dive into everything about them. But it works better if you already know their problems, if you already know their goals, if you already know their situation. Then the meeting becomes more seamless. You can talk, you can dive even more deeper into that conversation where you don't have to stay surface level. And yeah, so and the way you do that is simply by just calling them before the call. And that's it. There are many reasons. I'm going to talk about why we are calling them before the call, but there are many reasons. For example, make that it increases the chance of them showing up. But one of the biggest reasons is that you that have the meeting or your closer will make sure that they know as much as possible about their situation, goals, what's preventing them from reaching the goal, so they can prepare relevant information, presentations, documentation about those specific things. All right, so that's the first thing. So as soon as they book, you want to have someone or yourself call them, figure out their situation, goals, what's preventing them from reaching the goal, because then you can be prepared on the meeting. The second thing, it's going to be a little bit different order here because I don't have any notes, I don't have nothing, and it's one take. So we'll see if I remember everything. But the second thing is that I would also like you to do that conversation within the next 3 minutes. We want them to feel warm that the prospects, we want the prospects to feel warm that we are actually here to help them. We are here to take care of you. You are inside our circle now and you are not going anywhere. We are here to help you. So as soon as someone books a call, I want you to set up a system where you either call yourself immediately or you have someone that calls immediately. my recommendation is that you find someone to call them immediately, because you are probably having some meetings yourself. You have meetings with clients, you have meetings with potential clients, you have different things. You're not able to pick up the phone as soon as they ring, but you can find someone that are. And that's just my recommendation, because what I really recommend to do, and it will increase the chances of them becoming warmer, it will make sure that they're warmer, they also increase the chance of them showing up. So I want you to call within the next 3 minutes to make sure that they feel warm, included, and they don't have enough time to cancel the meeting. Right? The more time goes on, the bigger are the chance of them canceling. But if we call them immediately, they feel warm and they feel that, hey, I'm actually getting taken care of. The second reason, as I said, the third reason, I mean, is that it also increases the chance of them showing up. The reason for this is that they feel more connected to you. Because what's also going to happen to the same person that calls the prospect is that my recommendation is that you add them into a WhatsApp group, and then that person that called the prospect after they book a call will make sure that they know who to contact if something comes up. So if they have any questions, if they want to reschedule, if something happens, they have a contact person to reach out to solve whatever happens. When they have those feelings that, hey, I have someone to talk to and he is taking care of me, they're gonna feel real bad if they're not showing up or cancel the meeting when they are taken care of. So we're kind of playing on that factor as well, where they are kind of feeling bad if they end up canceling. Okay, we want to have that feeling where they feel, oh, they have done so much for me, now I have to show up. That was the third thing. The fourth thing that I would also like you to do is to send relevant videos depending on what their situation, goals, and problems were. So you have the setter call them after the book. They are the one asking questions to figure out their situation, the goals, what's preventing from reaching the goal. And then what you can do is that you can send videos, customized videos, about those specific problems the prospects mentioned they had to them before the call. Many reasons for this. Biggest reason is that they get familiarity with you. You want them to kind of feel like you are a famous person. You're not a famous person, but if they have seen maybe 30-60 minutes footage of you before the call, and they know you have no idea who they are, they are going to see you as the famous person, because they know who you are, but you don't know who they are. So you build authority on that front as well. All right. So make sure that you build as much familiarity as possible. Make sure that they see your face, see your voice, hear your voice. I mean, as much as possible leading up to the call. All right. The second reason of why we want to send relevant information, because we want them to see, you want your prospect to see you as the guy that solves problems. So if they speak with your setter and talk about their problems, because the setter is asking specific questions, figuring out the problem, for example, hey, what do you think is preventing you from reaching your goals? They're going to mention something specific, and when they mention something specific, you can send a tailored video about that topic, talk about that specific problem. What do you think happens then? What do you think happens? The prospect feels, hey, this guy solved my problem. Okay, do you think that they have a bigger chance? Do you think it's a bigger chance that they trust you in your ability to solve their problems with a paid offer as well? Of course they will have that trust, because we are in the business of solving problems. And if you solve a problem for free, they will trust you that you are also able to solve the second problem comes, and then a third problem and a fourth problem. I want you to see the same thing. Like, we are in the business of trust. I talk about this many times, but we are in the business of trust. So I want you to see your prospects as your friend that is telling you secrets, or you are telling your friend secrets. You maybe start small with the secrets you are telling your friends, where you are telling something that you don't really care, but a little bit, but you don't really care if they spill it out to all your other friends. Okay, but if they prove to you that they can keep it and they will not tell all your other friends your secret, now they have a high trust. So now you might give them an even bigger secret, and that goes on. And the secrets you are telling your friend that you eventually start to trust more and more because he's always keeping his promise, that goes bigger and bigger. And the same thing is in your business, that you should start small, live up to the promise so they have bigger trust, and you do that so on and so on and so on. So when you solve micro problems first to your prospects and say, hey, I'm here to help you, here is a way for you to solve the problem I know you're having. Oh wow, now I trust you that you can also solve the second problem that I'm having. And then the third, and then the fourth, and the more times goes on, you charge higher and higher prices because they have higher and higher trust in you. So that was the second reason why we want to sell materials. But you also see like how these things make sure that the prospects you are having get more warmer, they will have more trust in you. And what you're also doing is that you can have you build familiarity, which also is a way to get trust. The chance of them showing up is way higher. But what you also can do is pre-handle all objections. So the way you do it is that you write down every single possible objection and concern your potential customer has. For example, just ask your clients or look back at old sales calls, figuring out what the most common questions were, and then you can make videos talking about those specific concerns and objections. So when they then jump on a call with you, they don't have those objections anymore. I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you a completely random example. So for example, if you are a software developed company, I guess one of the biggest objections you are getting to your potential customers is that, why can't I just make AI make my software? That's probably a common objection they are hearing. You don't want them to ask that question on the meeting, because the more questions they ask you, the less educated they are, and the more you have to again pitch and talk about why your services is the best. We want to talk as little as possible. And the way we are making sure that we talk as little as possible is to pre-handle all objections. So we do that when you know that, for example, the biggest concern / objection is when it comes to software development, and that is, why can't I just make AI make my software? You want to make a video that will maybe last for 30 seconds long, and you send that video to your prospects before the call even happens. So when they jump on the call, they don't have those objections anymore. What I would suggest, the way you do this is that I would suggest you have a page with 6 to 8 frequently asked questions videos, and as soon as they book, for example, through Calendly, they get redirected to that page where they see 6 to 8 FAQ videos. And all those are very well structured, where it's about covering the most common objections. So if they have questions about certain topics, they can click on that video and they see a video of you talking about that specific objection. Again, we want to build familiarity. The more they see your face, the better everything becomes. All right. So I think I've covered most things. And also what I would also recommend you to do is that when you set your calls within the next 3 minutes after your prospect books a call, it's also important that the setter confirms with the prospect that he actually confirms and accepts the meeting invitation. So what I want you to do is that I want you to cancel all meetings with prospects that aren't accepting the invitation, because that also gives you a lot of authority and also give you a reason for them to accept the invitation. So for example, on the same page that they get redirected to after they book a call, you might have a video saying, hey, thanks for booking. One thing though, make sure that you accept the invitation. If you're not accepting the invitation, we will give that slot to someone else. You kind of build scarcity on that as well. You want to build that, and you also position yourself as the authority figure, where it's like, hey, we get a lot of meetings, and if you're not gonna accept, we just give that slot to someone else. And if they don't accept that meeting and you see that prospect inside that meeting when that time comes, do not join. Don't do it. Cancel that meeting right away. And you send an email. You don't even send anything. Like, you made it clear, like they know it. And then if they ask you, that's fine. And then you just say, hey, yeah, but you didn't accept the invitation and we gave that slot to someone else. You want to be an authority. Why do you want to be an authority? I'm going to have more videos about how to become an authority, why that is important. But people trust authority figures. That's why. And again, we are in the business of trust. If you are a police officer, you do have a lot of authority, and people trust police officers most of the times, at least. Anyways, I hope this video was sense. I don't think I forgot anything, but it's about the system to make sure that all objections are pre-handled. They are fully educated about your services. They know everything about you. Familiarity is built. All objections are pre-handled. I think I already said that, but I say it again. And they have also been, you have also solved micro problems for them leading up to the call. So the trust they will have in your ability to also solve more problems that they also have are way higher. And this is the way you can get meetings that are 100 times warmer by doing this alone. Again, there are many things you can do as well leading up to the time they book that call, but this is just after they book a call. It's called a triage system. You can look that up more if you want to. This is what we are doing, and it increases the show up rate, it increases the warmth of the prospect that shows up, and that we have a meeting with, and it also it increases the chances of them becoming a customer. They have more familiarity, they have more trust, and you don't have to spend 45 minutes pitching on your sales calls because they know as much as possible before call.